Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mount Vernon's Trivia Thursday. Now, I am Dr. James Craig, and I shall be your host this afternoon. Now, you are watching us live, but we invite you all to join us and play along. Now, the way that you can do this is if you look at the bottom of the screen, scrolling past, you will see menti.com. Go there with either your tablet or your computer or your phone, whatever you like to, and use the login numbers 468298, and then you'll be able to come in and play along with us. Now,
vote for me.
Susan would like your votes early on. Now, the way this game is going to be played, we're going to have our experts answering questions about George Washington. Well, about Washington. Now, ladies and gentlemen, each of the questions will be in a number. Now, the experts will get the questions, they will decide what the number of their answer shall be, and then whoever is the closest without going over will get the point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the way you play along is you have to decide which expert you think is closest without going over. Now, with us today, we have what I like to refer to as Mount Vernon's Brain Trust. We all trust they have brains. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our experts to you today. First off is Doug Bradburn. Doug, would you give us a little bit of information as to why you are an expert on Washington? And then, just to make it interesting, give us something about yourself that's not related to George Washington.
Well, Dr. Craig, thank you very much. I'm Doug Bradburn, the president and CEO of George Washington's Mount Vernon, and I know all things George Washington because I live here at Mount Vernon, the same place that he lived. So that's a wonderful thing. And one thing about me that isn't about George Washington, well, I told people about my favorite sandwich in one of my earlier live streams. That was a sandwich I like in the wintertime, and that was the Reuben. And I think in the summertime, my favorite sandwich is a beautiful piece of French crusty bread with really hot mayonnaise on it. If I can't get that, I like the special sauce from the cheese shop in Williamsburg, and turkey with a little fresh, crisp lettuce and a very sharp cheddar cheese. Now, Dr. Craig, one thing I would ask you is, do you know why the grasshopper went to the doctor?
No. Why did a grasshopper?
He went because he felt jumpy.
I see. Yes. Yeah. Moving along, our next expert is Kevin Butterfield. Now, Kevin, could you please give us a little bit of information, what makes you an expert, and also something about yourself, non-Washington related?
Absolutely. So I am the director of the library in Mount Vernon, which gives me an opportunity to be around all the books with all the information about everything related to George Washington. So while Doug lives on the estate, he's on the other side, farther away from the books. I'm surrounded by the books every minute of every day. Something about me that's not related to George Washington that I actually didn't know until I saw myself in the screen is that my guitar is in the background. It's not normally there. It's normally on the other side of the room, out of the camera shot, but my toddler may have moved in and it needed to be relocated. I play guitar and have played for years, used to play back in the old days in front of audiences, and my crowning achievement was opening for a man named Chuck Berry. I got to play on the same stage with Chuck Berry in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh my goodness. Now, our third expert for the evening or afternoon.
It's not a sandwich, Kevin. It's pretty good. It's not a sandwich.
Maybe we could play some dinner music, Doug. Now, our third expert is Susan Schulwer. Is that correct, dear?
It's sort of close.
Close enough. All right. Susan, give us the information as to why you are an expert, and also, as always, something that's not Washington related.
Well, first of all, those are both hard acts to follow, but I am in charge of all the historic preservation and collections at Mount Vernon, above ground and below ground, so including the buildings, the artwork, the artifacts, even the archaeology. And I do go and look at a book now and then because sometimes artifacts don't speak to us and we need to read about them and do some research. So I cover the ground there that way. Something about me that's not about Washington is a tough one because right now, basically everything I do is immersed in Washington. I live in Washington. I work at Mount Vernon, but I grew up on a farm in Illinois and went to high school with a class of 42 people. So coming from there to Mount Vernon to what I do now has been a pretty amazing journey.
Excellent. Now, Susan, what did your farm grow when you were a child?
Well, we grew mostly corn, soybeans, wheat, winter wheat, oats, which my father sometimes brought in a steam engine threshing engine to harvest. And we had cattle, we had horses that we rounded up the cattle with. We had hogs until they all got cholera and died. We never had sheep because my father thought sheep were dirty and hated sheep shearing. And we never had chickens for the same sort of reason.
Yes, chicken shearing is just such a terrible, terrible thing.
Exactly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to begin. So let's talk about Washington Counts one more time. All the questions will be Washington related, and they will appear on the screen. Now, the answer is always a number. The experts will guess their number, or if they use their expertise, they may just know it exactly, and they will write those numbers down. When they are prepared, they will put their ready card up to the camera so that everyone can see that they are indeed ready. And then once everyone is ready, we will reveal their numbers. Then it is your turn to vote for who you think is closest without going over. Now, the one that is closest without going over will win 1 point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that you can play along with us and have your votes actually count by going to minty.com. It scrolls right across the bottom of the screen there, and use the code 468298 to join us and vote along. And you can also give us some comments or so if you like. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if everyone is prepared.
Wait, Dr. Craig, I have a question first. Why did the doctor tell the nurses to be quiet when walking past the medicine cabinet?
Why did the doctor tell the nurses to be quiet when walking past the medicine cabinet?
So that they wouldn't wake the sleeping pills.
All right, question number 1.
Do it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Each state gets 2 statues in the U.S. Capitol and can only be replaced by the state itself. A statue of George Washington Glick of Kansas was the first to be switched. What year was this done?
Wow. George Washington Glick, one of my favorites. This is awesome. Okay.
Yes. Now, Kansas, that's farm country. Susan, you should have an advantage here, shouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin's from that neck of the woods, isn't he? Isn't he from Kansas City?
Kansas City, Missouri. Sadly, if I've been on from the Kansas side, I may know straight up.
Yes, but you used to go shopping in the other side, I imagine, right? You Kansas City boat people do go across the river at some point.
That's right. It's very close. I'm ready.
Oh, Kevin is the first up with his number here. His card's ready. He's up there. Let's see. Yeah, see who's next. Oh, Susan's ready. Doug, it's you. They are all ready.
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to find out what their numbers are. What year did the statue of George Washington Glick get replaced? Let's see here. Doug says 1900. Susan says 1923. And Kevin has a bright white light, and I can't see the number. Oh, there we are. 1939. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start remembering here. What year? Doug says 1900. Susan said 1923. And Kevin, of course, said 1939. Now, any ideas? Kevin, why were you picking 1939? Anything close there?
I was thinking Depression era. I was thinking. I think this might have happened under FDR's watch for reasons that I'm not entirely able to put my finger on. But I think it's going to be later than my first instinct, which would have been right along the lines of Doug's, which would have been around the end of the century.
All right. Now, for those of you who are wondering how this is going to score out, if it happened before 1900, all the way up to 1900, Doug is your choice. If it happened between
no, that's none. Up to 1900 is none.
Oh, up to no, that's you.
Yes.
It's closest without going over.
No, it's if I have 1900, I'm over. If it's like 1890.
Doug, your guess was 1900.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
if
it's
0 to 1900, it's you.
No, zero to 1900, it's none, because I would be over. I'm 1900 to 1923.
Oh, all right. Oh, fine. All right. So 1900 to 1923 is Doug, fine. 1923 to 1939 is Susan, and 1939 to the end of the world is Kevin.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
And everything before that is none. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
I mean, he was a George Washington Glick. I mean, do you guys know who that is when it comes to Kansas history?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask. I have no idea who George Washington Glick is.
He was governor of Kansas.
And fewer people now know.
But I think Kevin might be. I like your idea, Kevin, about the Depression era switch out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little probably close to his lifetime. He probably lived into the 20th century.
Oh, Doug is getting, your talking is getting you a couple more votes here. However, Susan is leading at this moment. So.
Yeah, it's a popularity contest.
Yeah. Oh, well,
No,
she is a
actually,
popularity.
it's a beauty contest. Beauty and
Wow.
brain.
That could be both.
So I have a joke for you too. You know, in this counting game, there are 3 kinds of people.
Yeah.
Those who can count and those who can't.
Excellent.
Very good.
All right.
You know, Susan, I keep trying to lose weight, but it keeps finding me.
Oh, dear Lord. Let's go on to the answer. How's that? All right. So the answer is 2003.
Yeah, that's modern.
Kevin.
I was only off by a century and 3 years, so that's pretty close.
So that point is going to go to Kevin. So
once again, Kevin gets it by fraud and deceit.
That's right. I will take that point.
All right. Now, I've got a question.
We even knew who the guy was.
Does anybody know who replaced the statue? What president replaced George Washington Glick?
It doesn't have to be a president. And
Because I told you it was.
No, it's Eisenhower.
Truman.
No, it's Eisenhower. Eisenhower, people. Eisenhower.
Eisenhower. Yes, it was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
George Washington.
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Great start here.
We like to check and see where everyone is coming to us from, who is watching us. So if you're on Minty.com, type in the 2-letter abbreviation for your state, and let's see where people are. We've got Virginia, Florida,
Kansas,
North Carolina. No Kansas people. There's a Delaware. Just had to spell it out. Didn't just do the 2-letter.
Maybe they don't know the 2-letter abbreviation.
I don't know. Ohio is there. That's it. Excellent. So we've got quite a variety of people out here now. That's good. Excellent. Now, here is our second question. Now, George Washington had all sorts of vegetables and such on his farm, but the tomato is actually a fruit. So we need to know, what is the tomato meter rating of 1776, the musical, on Rotten Tomatoes? That's a
closest
rating
without
system.
going over. Okay.
Yes, closest without going over.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. We're still waiting. Are any of you familiar with 1776?
Yes, it's a musical.
Just making sure. Thank you, Doug, for reading the question. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, everyone is ready. Everyone is ready. So let's see what they think the rating on 1776, the musical, is. Here we are. Put your answers up now. Here we are. Susan thought it was a terrible film.
Well, actually,
Gave it a 5%.
No, I thought it was a 1 to 10 scale. So
a 1 to 10. Oh, well.
She's not familiar with Rotten Tomatoes.
Susan.
When I translate the percentage, it was 50%. Come on.
Nice try.
Kevin says 76.
5 is your answer.
And Doug says 84. All right.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, who do you side with on this one?
I think Susan stumbled into a good spot there.
Look, it's a good musical. It's a good movie. People love it. The only people who are rating 1776 are nerds, right? Because normal people who don't know it aren't going on to Rotten Tomatoes to rate it because it's not new. It's been around for a while. So it's going to be in the 90th percentile probably, but I figured 84 is a safe below the number bet. That's
just to let you know, the tomato meter rating is by the critics, not by the audiences. So just thought I'd throw that out there. So remember, if you want to vote, from 1 to 4 is none. All right. From 5 to 75 is
actually,
Susan.
I've got a good chance.
Yeah.
And 76 to 83 is Kevin, and 84 to 100 is Doug. So let's see. Again, Susan, you're looking like a favorite here. The audience loves you. They really do.
I have a fan club. I mean,
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing. Your fans are with you. Now let's see. We've got it. And the rating is 69%. So Susan has picked it. Well, she's now
down, John. That's right. Yeah, Anna Hoffman's got it. That's right. That's a good question. Good quote there.
The reason that I told you that it was the critics rating is just so I could let you know afterwards. The rating by the audiences is 84.
Well, see, that's not fair. I was going by the audience rating.
No. You make
I didn't hear any critics rating. That's ridiculous. That was my whole thinking. Unbelievable.
Well, there's two different ratings. There's the
but this question says what is the tomato meter rating. It doesn't say which rating it is. I call foul. I protest.
If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it says the tomato meter rating is the critics, and the audience rating is the audience. So there.
I want to say that I completely and totally respect the way Tom is handling this.
We do what we can.
Annoying and unfair, but so I at least get to give another joke. So what do you call a fake noodle, Dr. Craig? What do you call a fake noodle?
I have no idea what you call a fake noodle.
It's an impasta.
All right, question.
In the delivery. It's the
number
impasta.
3 here. The U.S. Postal Service issued a stamp commemorating George Washington's 200th birthday. How much did the stamp cost?
Oh, this is good. This is good. I think I've seen the stamp, but I just can't remember what it says on it.
Yes. So
yes.
Hopefully someone. Oh, Susan. Oh,
she knows.
Oh, that's right. This would fall. This would fall in
studied
collections and things like that, now, wouldn't it? So Susan is, again. My money's on her at this moment right now. Just for her.
Craig, you're a terrible host if you're choosing people already. That's unbelievable.
Well, I'm going off qualifications.
Hey, I have nowhere to go but up from last time.
Susan's in, right? Yeah, we're ready.
Susan, are you ready?
We're ready.
All right, then let's see your answers. How much did that stamp cost according to you all? We have a tie here at 1 and 1, 1 cent and 1 cent for Doug and Susan. And then Kevin said 2 cents. So if it's 1 cent, it's a tie between Susan and Doug. If it's 2 cents, it's
more. Kevin
2 cents or more. It's all Kevin.
If it's forever, we all win, right?
Exactly. Kevin has a good bet here.
Well, yeah, 2 to infinity is Kevin. So that that's good. But remember, 1932 was a long time ago, and didn't take much to mail a letter back then, right?
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. So Susan was still. Oh, Kevin just popped ahead, and I think people realize what's going on here.
Maybe Google is having an influence there. Why am I only 10% and Susan is 45%? We have the same answer. You biased people.
It's
because I'm amazing.
It's the joke, Doug. It's the jokes, Doug.
Yeah, Susan is. I think your family's come online again, Susan. You are now tied with Kevin for the popular. Now you're ahead in popularity.
Who's voting for none? Zero stamp.
It was a free stamp. They're thinking. Oh, why not? It wasn't used for letters. It's used to seal the envelopes. All right, well, Susan is our leader here in the audience poll at 44%. So why don't we see how much that stamp actually cost?
Oh, yeah. Inflation.
Yes. So Kevin takes the point on that with by putting his 2 cents in there. So
right.
Now,
very nicely done, Dr. Craig. I like that very much. Did you hear about the guy that invented lifesavers?
No, I didn't.
They say that he made a mint.
Also with the unused or uncanceled stamps, those now are worth over $1,000. Some of them.
Wow.
Yes. So 8 cents to 1,000. That's some very much well appreciated.
Now, do you guys know what image of George Washington was on the bicentennial stamp?
I'm pretty sure it was his face.
Susan should know this because she is the definitive expert of Washington images.
I should, yes.
Go with the face, Susan. Say the face.
Oh, yeah, the face.
It was right. It was his horse, right?
Yeah. I want to say it's a profile.
Yeah, of course it's a profile. And what profile do you think it's going to be?
It's Houdon.
Yeah, it's a version of Houdon, I would say. Yeah.
Kevin's keeping quiet.
Kevin,
let us fight it out, Kevin. It'll be good.
All right, let's do this.
Let's have an audience poll question here. What's your favorite place at Mount Vernon? So those of you who visited Mount Vernon, we hope you have all visited Mount Vernon before. But if you haven't, please, once all this terrible business is over, come back out to us. Come see us and have a wonderful, I mean the pandemic, not this game. Now, here we are. So just come out and see us out here because you can see the piazza. You can see Susan got there. Yeah.
How do you see wait a second, Dr. Craig, how do you pronounce that first one there? How did you pronounce that?
The piazza.
The piazza. Okay. I thought I might have heard a piazza in there a little bit, sort of like
not a pizza. No, not a pizza. No.
I see multiple piazzas.
Yeah, well, they like the pizza too, so there. Lots of the East Lawn. I love the East Lawn.
There's an insider with the DeVos House porch. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's right.
The DeVos House porch.
So those of you who haven't been to Mount Vernon before, look at all of the beautiful things that you can see there. That we're not telling you what it is. Your fellow countrymen are telling you what it is. So go out and see it.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Ready? Next question. Here we are. How many times does George Washington's likeness appear in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda? Yeah. Now, this is his likeness. How many times does it appear in the Rotunda?
All right.
Oh, Kevin must have spent some time in the U.S. Capitol. He's got that answer up fast.
Kevin, you spoke at the Rotunda recently, didn't you? With the Mason.
It wasn't recent, actually. It was feels like a lifetime ago. It was in 2018, and I did not count George Washington's images, but I have an answer that I think is going to be spot on.
Oh, well, we'll see.
Spot on an expression from Kansas City, Missouri, or is that something you picked up in your travels?
I think it's probably a Kansas City expression, actually.
Yeah, right.
All right. Everyone has put their ready card up. So let's see what your answers are. Susan says it appears 3 times. Doug says 4 times. And Kevin says 13.
13, Kevin. Come on. What are you, a conspiracy theorist? That's ridiculous. That's a lot of George Washingtons, even for the rotunda.
Well, I'm happy to tell the doctor what my thinking was, which is a higher number than you think, and just from counting the portraits and all of that, because I think there's something symbolic going on here. So I went with 13. I think there's probably other numbers you could choose.
100% are now voting for Kevin. That's what happens when he says I defend my answer right now. So.
Does it include the statue of Washington? Does that count as one of the likenesses?
Is that a likeness?
Yes, but it's not sort of on the walls or anything. It's not painted into the rotunda.
Well, it's a likeness. Does it appear in the U.S. Capitol?
Well, the way that I got cheated out of the tomato meter one, I want to know what we're talking about here. Real likenesses, or just happen to be in the rotunda?
Fair and above board.
All right. Dear Lord.
Doug and I are neck and neck.
All right. So, Susan, you had how many times? 3?
I said 3.
And Doug, you said?
I said 4.
4. And Kevin said 13. So Kevin is the most popular right at the moment, but let's see how many times George Washington appears in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda.
Yes,
that is
solid.
Doug's on the
so
board.
Doug, who was complaining the entire time about how it goes, actually gets the point on that one.
Not on the schneid anymore. That's good. Very happy.
Now, he's got the apotheosis there, the Virginia's statue. Remember the statues that can repair?
The resignation.
The resignation by Trumbull, yes. Also, the surrender of Cornwallis by Trumbull, and the frieze of American history. It's the Yorktown scene, and then the inauguration engraving on the base of the Alexander Hamilton statue.
Wow! Look at that.
That's a tricky one.
Yes, that's the one that people go, oh, I didn't know about that. Now, so a lot of appearances have been made before. So let's see right now. In the lead at this moment is Kevin with 2 points, and Susan and Doug both have 1 apiece. This can change now, right now, because we've got another question. How many times does, how many film credits does Nicolas Cage, star of National Treasure 2, have according to the Internet Movie Database .com website?
I protest the relevance of this question to Washington. That is a pretty thin piece of butter right there.
I didn't hear you protesting last week.
No, I didn't win last week. I should have protested more. I protested about all of last week.
Nick Cage.
Part of National Treasure 2 was filmed at Mount Vernon, so it's related to Washington in that way, and it's also got a part of that fiction is in there also.
Dr. Craig, you weren't even alive when that was filmed. You have no way of knowing that. It's unbelievable. Ahistorical.
Yeah, I'm a very smart man. So.
A ghost.
It's my way. I'm still there. Oh, Kevin is ready now. He's a big fan of Nicolas Cage. He went to a DVD collection.
Give us that big Nick Cage smile, Kevin. Let's see that big Nick Cage grin. There it is. There he is. Yeah.
Susan is ready, and Doug is laughing at himself.
Yeah. Oh, Lord God. Okay. It's got to be somewhere higher than that. So let's go with. Oh, God. It's going to be too high.
All right. Everyone is ready. So let's see how many films they think Nicolas Cage has been in. All right.
My goodness.
He says 37, and Kevin and Susan both say 41.
Oh my goodness. I was so close to changing mine to 42.
Everyone is. All right. So
I have no idea why we're all
boxed out. I got boxed out by you two. Again, you two are like in each other's pockets. Social distance.
It's breathing that. It's drinking the Kool-Aid in the library.
I have no idea. I mean, why are we all within 4 of each other, though? That's nuts. I mean, nobody knows how many
because
movies
we are
he's
all aficionados of the Nicolas Cage.
got.
Because you all see the same things. That's all.
You have to name a Nicolas Cage movie that isn't one of the national treasures, Susan. I want to hear you name a Nick Cage movie.
I can't name it, but it's the one where he wakes up and he's like married with kids, or he's not married. He is married and he's not married, and yeah.
Wow, what a description! That sounds like a really memorable movie that you watched. That's awful.
That's called The
I don't
Family
know.
Man, Susan.
It's
There's
called
also
what?
Raising Arizona. It's called The Family Man.
Okay.
Wow, here you go.
go.
Keep going, Kevin. Come on.
Moonstruck.
Moonstruck,
there's-
Wow, you're going way back. That's
he's in one of the left behind.
Adam Carmen says Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Oh my goodness! I think he was in. Wasn't he in something called Leaving Las Vegas? Wasn't that his?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he played a drunk. That's right.
One. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
so,
Doug, with his vast knowledge right now, is ahead
I'm
at
very impressed with
38%. He's his count of 37 is sounding good for a lot of the people out there voting. 41 and 41 for Kevin and Susan is they've got equal percentage right now, 26%. And so, and 10% says none of you got it right, that you're all over. So
That's it. Yeah.
So the answer is
103.
103. So we have a tie between Susan
oh, come on,
and Kevin.
Boo.
So
I didn't know we were talking about all movies. Okay.
So Kevin now rolls ahead into the lead with 3 points. Susan is second with 2, and Doug is waiting just to make that sprint for the final run and sweep all the questions here to come.
Everybody likes a good comeback, like Nicolas Cage. Sooner or later, he's going to have his big comeback, like me in this game.
I'm
We
sure
hope
there's
so.
an appropriate joke for this moment.
There is. There is a good joke. Did you know that I'm so good at sleeping, I can do it with my eyes closed?
I'm amazed. I really am
Without
amazed.
waking up the sleeping pills.
There you go. See, I like the theme.
All right, let's let our audience say, try and figure out what is this object. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at that and try to figure out what that object is used for.
It's not a number.
It's not a number. Mm-mm.
Oh, this is an audience question.
No, this is an audience question, not you all.
Five.
I know the answer. I know the answer.
This is for the audience, Susan. We will let Susan do the reveal of what this actually is, because this is her expertise, and so we don't want to step on her here. She has to tell us what this is.
Okay.
When you're ready.
That could be really embarrassing.
We've got objects. Someone says it's mortar. Someone says a handle, a rolling pin, a leg.
It can be 2 things. It can be something to kill someone with. You hit it over the top of the head.
Yeah. So we've got quite a grinding. It's used for grinding corn. We have both the mortar and the pestle. So
I like the wig curler. I like that.
Wig curler. We also have a handles, and it also says it's Susan. So so Susan, shall you deny this and tell us what it actually is?
It's a little hard to tell because you don't have the scale, but I think it's part of a wig curler.
That is exactly what it is. It is a wig curler.
There you go.
Now, it helps to curl the wigs and such, but George Washington, as I'm sure all of our experts know, George Washington never wore a wig.
Did he curl his hair?
The curious thing is there were dozens and dozens and dozens of these things found in the archaeology of the Ferry farmhouse where George Washington lived as a boy. So why are there all of these wig curlers in his boyhood home? Is it a cottage industry?
Maybe his mother had a wig.
Possibly.
Many wigs.
They were for men.
How do you know they were for men, Susan? Come on. Women have wigs.
Fashion.
All right. Question number 6. From 2006 until 2018, how many races has George Washington won during the Washington Nationals game? How many times has he drug his big head around the track and gotten there first? So let's see how many that you can figure out. So how many races has George Washington won at the Washington Nationals games from 2006 to 2018?
Hey, Dr. Craig, you knew George Washington. Did he have an exceptionally large head like the mannequin doll that runs around, or was he a normal-headed size?
Well, it depends on, who you're comparing it to. So
but you're a doctor, so you tell us.
Well, for a man of his stature and size, his cranium was quite normal sized, actually. So yes.
Yeah. That's sad.
Susan is counting the games.
Beware of Susan doing math. 10 million people, Susan. 10 million.
Oh, well, Kevin is the first to hit the ready sign.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's see here. See what we've got.
Okay.
So Kevin is ready. Susan is still counting.
Okay.
Doug is
I think
coloring, but we're not sure. So
I can tell you how many he's won in any game I've ever been to. And that's
man. He's won 0. Oh dear. So Kevin and Susan are ready. Doug's doing his taxes. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Doug's definitely doing his taxes. Come on.
Oh God, I'm doing this wrong. I'm not doing this correctly.
It's all right.
All right.
All right. And now we're all 3 ready. So contestants, experts, let's see your numbers. Susan says George Washington won 65 races. Kevin says 358. And Doug said 2,000 races? 200.
Wait, I clearly saw an extra
Wait,
zero.
I thought I saw 1,000.
You cannot cover up the zero.
You can't possibly think 2,000 races.
The scorekeeper.
There's only 12 years. How many games do they even play in 12 years, for God's sake?
Well, you shouldn't have written it then.
I didn't mean to write it. I wrote 200.
You did.
I wrote 200. It's right here. It's right here. 200.
I'm sorry, Doug. It is locked in at 2,000. Your original answer. So, you cannot change it. You cannot change it.
It's 200G.
That's a 0.
200.
That's a 0. That's 2,000. You're still to
200.
The doctor has spoken. And yeah, I did the math. There's roughly been 1,000 games, so Doug's off by a clear 1,000.
Well, I accidentally wrote one more 0.
Remember, it's closest without going over. So if it's under 65, then no one does it. If it's 65 to 358, Susan got the point. If it's 358,
all right, let's see it already.
199.
Stop beating a dead horse.
All right. The answer is 209.
I said 200.
You didn't.
I didn't. It was a slip of the pen. Slip of the pen.
That's a big slip.
Doesn't count.
It's just a 0. I mean, a 0 shouldn't count for that much.
Oh dear Lord. All right. Next question. Oh, we've got it's the tie now. Susan and Kevin are both tied. Oh my. So
the plot thickens.
Let's see our next question here. The Potomac River flows from Fairfax Stone, West Virginia, to Point Lookout, Maryland. How many miles between those 2 points?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
How many miles of Potomac River from Fairfax Stone, West Virginia, to Point Lookout, Maryland?
Is this as the crow flies or by the winds of the river?
Technicality, just answer the question. You don't get to have the details. Just come up with an answer.
It's just, I mean, it's got to clarify what we're talking about here.
Oh, just answer.
2,000, you know. It's harsh, Trey. That's harsh. You know how you spell 200 with a D? Everybody knows you spell 200 with a D at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very sad. It's come to this. It's come to this.
Susan is ready now. Doug is ready. And Kevin is looking at the map. So let's see. So all three are ready. Let's reveal the answers now, shall we? Let's see what you got there. Kevin says 212. Susan says 460, and Doug says 158. So 158 for Doug, 212 for Kevin, and 460 miles for Susan.
I got this one. I got this one in the bag, people. Yes, 100% people think that.
Everyone is behind you on this one, Doug, except for Susan's family, who just Kevin. No, actually, Susan's family has switched to Kevin now. It appears. Your family's back. Your family just needs to stick with what they got to do. Goodness gracious!
Made a strong beginning. Now it's sad.
Now, did you all know that there are actually bottlenose dolphins in the Potomac River?
No, I didn't know that, Dr. Craig. Were they there in the 18th century as well? And what was the Loch Ness Monster in there?
They come in there because of their feeding and also the safety for mating. Because even though there are sharks in the Potomac, also there are bull sharks in there. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Well, you got to follow me.
I'll tell you something I do know. There's a man walked into a doctor's office and he had a cucumber up his nose, a carrot in his ear, and a banana in his right ear. And he said, "What's the matter with me, doctor?" And the doctor replied, "You're not eating properly."
All right. The answer to the question is how many miles is 383.
Do I win?
You win.
Kevin,
Kevin
gets the luckiest guesser in showbiz. Unbelievable. Not looking good for our doctor.
Guessing is an art, not a science, and I am very good at it.
We got to do all or nothing for the last question to give me a chance.
No way. No way.
I think it'd be great if there was a crazy rule like that stupid Harry Potter game, Gryffindor. No, what's it called? Quidditch. Where all of a sudden you just catch like this gold guy that you just win automatically. I mean, no matter what all the other people do during the whole game of Quidditch, just catch the gold snitch. You know, we need to have a gold snitch situation here. I need to be able to have a chance. Where's my snitch?
All right. So we want to take another poll with the audience here. Let them see. What is your favorite animal out at Mount Vernon? We've got Aladdin the camel. He was leading for a second, but now the lambs have taken over. The little baby lambs. The pigs are not getting any love, nor are the oxen.
The oxen. I mean, the oxen are pretty cool.
The oxen are nice, and also I think Paula, the hog, is such a lovely girl. She's so sweet, such a sweet girl. But the lambs are still just all over the place. Everybody loves a baby animal, so there. So Aladdin is still at 6, though. He's a good one. Come out at Christmas time and see Aladdin. He's so sweet. He loves me. He's still there. All right. So excellent. Question number 8.
Oh, more census material. Excellent. Yeah.
Just for Susan. Susan loves the census, so we got it for her. According to the 2010 census, what is the population of George Washington?
No, Dr. Price liked that one. That was very clever. I love it.
So just to show you all of the things that are named for George Washington, a city, George Washington. So everyone's thinking, have anybody ever been to George Washington?
I've got it right here, ready to go. Kevin, stop Googling. I see your hand strangely far apart from your body.
I'm looking for an old card.
I got my eyes on you. I know how you're doing this.
Come on. I would be a lot closer.
Where's my golden snitch? I need a golden snitch. Let's go.
They all have their cards up. All right, let's see what the answers they have chosen are. Kevin says 38.
Yes.
Susan says 187.
That's 2000 looks like.
2000. Once again, he says
Right there, baby.
2000.
Yes. Now I've got it.
Oh dear Lord. So, so audience, who are you thinking is closest without going over?
Doug's got a lot of room. Susan's got a lot of room to be right.
Yep.
Kevin is a loser in this one. There's a lot more people living in George than that. George it's got some great stuff. It's got a shopping mall. It's got at least 5 doctors. George is a serious place.
Is this for real? You know this?
Doug is going to retire.
Go to the doctor, Kevin. Why did the rope go to the doctor?
I don't know.
It had a knot in its stomach.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's in there.
I need a drink.
Who
So
is this new? I mean, George has got a minor league ball team in it.
Does it really?
Yeah, they called the Generals.
Well, then I think you're in great shape, Doug. I'd be voting for you if I were out there.
well, look, it's a tie. Well,
Ethan
no,
in last
tie
place
right
now.
now between Doug and Susan. They're both thinking, they're very popular. Kevin, at this point, everyone thinks that you've lost it there. So
Yeah, I think that's right.
China's gone. It's
All
actually
right.
a population of
Come on.
501.
All right.
Oh,
So
geez.
Susan gets
That's what I was. I had
100.
100. I had 200. Look. See? Right there. Come on.
Good try.
We can't win today. It's not my day.
Now, I want to say that where I come from, that's a big town.
Wow.
Well, there's only one town named for Martha Washington. Dandridge, Tennessee. It's named for Martha Dandridge Washington. So there.
Fascinating.
Who knew?
Yeah.
And they have a population
What's
of
its population?
2,812 in the
Of course it is.
2000
Yeah, of course. More people live in Danbury.
So that's what you were thinking of, Doug.
I'm going to buy some property in Georgia. I think it's a growth opportunity.
Question 9. Bushrod Washington was appointed to serve on the Supreme Court in 1798. How many years did he serve?
My goodness. I got to do some math. I know it's not 2,000.
What can it be? Yes, Doug, don't use 2,000. Don't, please.
Well, sometimes I just add a 0 and not thinking it's worth anything, but apparently it is.
You have to put a decimal point in there for it to not to be worth anything.
Good point, Susan. Thank you for that.
Now he's just going to start adding decimal points. He's going to have his finger over them and go, oh, no, see, it was there all the time.
I'm going to draw a picture of Dr. Craig on the next one. All right, what do we got here?
Okay, is everyone ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
All right, then let's see how many years you think Bushrod Washington served on the Supreme Court.
Susan's waiting to see mine. This is pretty fun.
97,
Whoa.
Oh, come on, Susan.
and Kevin says 30. All right, so again, we've got a tie. They're very close. These experts are just throwing their answers right tight together. That shows you how alike their minds really are.
When did Bushrod Washington die, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was at the end of his life. So now Doug is in the lead now with 60.
Dr. Craig, when did you die? And then, before you came back as a game show host?
It's in February of 1812.
Oh, okay. So Bushrod was still alive when you passed this mortal coil.
Oh, thank you. Quite kind of you. Thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, you look great. You look great.
27, and Kevin has 30. So
Come on, people.
27 to
30, Kevin. 30 is ambitious, Kevin, but it could be right.
I think he died in 1829. So I was torn between writing 30 and 31.
Kevin is a scholar of the Constitution and the courts, the Supreme Court. He should know this.
I think he died in 29, but
30 and 31. Give them
yeah, you got it. He died in 29 or 30, huh?
he died in 29. Yeah, I didn't know if the answer might be 30, so I was scared to write 31.
Well, you know that Bushrod Washington is considered to be the most important person in history with the first name Bushrod. So that's
That's a Doug level joke. That's great.
That's very good. I like that.
Yes.
So why did the octopus beat the shark in a fight?
Oh, I don't know. Why did the octopus beat the shark in a fight?
Because it was well armed.
Oh.
Oh, all right. All right. So let's see here.
Ah, what is this now? What quiz is this?
Don't know.
Waiting for players. All correct answers give max points.
This is
Okay.
two truths and a lie about George Washington. Okay.
Good. Two truths and a lie. So which one of these places did he not travel to?
And one is a lie. These are places that he has traveled to: Barbados, Cincinnati, or Savannah. So it is one lie. There's a lie. Two truths. What is the place he didn't go? And everyone says, everyone, very good. Cincinnati was one that he didn't go to. How about that?
It's got a good name for him, though.
All right. Question number 10. This is our final question of the game. How many official sister cities does Washington, D.C. have?
Oh, this is so easy. Everybody knows this. Come on.
Doug was immediate with his answer,
Wow.
almost like he has talked to these cities daily.
It's almost like he's trying to intimidate us.
Almost like he's done the first 2,000 already in a row.
Well, as somebody who's on the panel of guest cities for Washington, D.C., I should know this.
Let's see. And here we are. All three are ready? So let's see. Answers are: Kevin says 4, Susan says 2, Doug says 3.
Kevin might know something I don't know. Kevin, has there been an addition to the
2,
cities?
3, and 4. Sister says, what is?
I don't know the answer. I was practicing the art of guessing.
Immediately right.
You're very good at it.
So Doug is at 80%. Oh my goodness. Susan Susan's coming up. Now she's going down.
And the crowd support.
Kevin's rolling up now. Let's see. Doug is still holding his hard at 64% there. Oh my goodness gracious.
That's the intimidation factor.
Yes. Yeah. So they're all pretty confident though. Everyone looked like they were pretty good idea.
6.
Susan with 2, Doug with 3, and Kevin with 4. So we've got everybody.
I've got to get it right on the nose. I've got to get it right on the nose to win this one.
Let's see.
It's a golden stitch. If I get it right on the nose, I win.
Let's see the answer then. Let's see what it is. Number of sister cities is 15.
Yes.
So, Kevin.
Oh yes, look at that. Yes.
So what are some of these sister cities?
Well, Sunderland is one, and that's George Washington's ancestral home in England.
Ah.
Wait a second. George Washington's ancestral home in England. Which one? Wessington or the other one?
Sunderland.
Oh, Sunderland.
Yes.
Yeah, you do know he was born here in Virginia, in Pope's Creek.
Yes, but his ancestral, from his ancestors.
Some of his ancestors, not all.
All right. We've got Doug's going to finish the day with 1 point.
It's a solid 1.
Solid.
Isn't I tie on that one?
It's a prime number.
Kevin's domination. Wow.
And Kevin is the winner for the day with 6 points right there. So now, everyone at home, I want you to figure out who your favorite expert was, and remember who you voted for the most. And I hope everyone has had a marvelous time here. We are going to be here for the next at least 2 more weeks.
First place, Doug. It says it right there. First place. I love the way this is done here. Can we say thank you to everybody for being a part of this and for supporting?
This was great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
To our experts, to our audience watching and playing along with us. Thank you all. We're going to be here for 2 more weeks, 2 more Thursdays, 4 o'clock each time. Come back out, new questions each time, and you'll see how our experts measure up.
And then there'll be the Tournament of Champions. Now, everybody, thank you for being supporters of Mount Vernon. Don't be crabs. You know why crabs never give to charity? Because they're shellfish.
Yeah, don't be shellfish, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Thank you so much, everybody. It's great to spend time.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Bye-bye.
very